one of the worst things Reagan did, fairness doctrine, man, getting rid of that, where you don't get equal time. There's a lot of unevenness in our media because of that. And we just had Eric on, so it's only fair that we see the other side of the Trump family. The man with the rubber palate, the guy's guy, a guy who's a guy's guy, guys. This is his response to the video, to the ruling, rather, this video. Despicable by Design, which I think, isn't that the name of the show that the Trumps pitched to HGTV? It's not bad, actually. I think if the Trumps were to have an HGTV show, I think Despicable by Design is a winner. I mean, it's so on brand. Just saying. Yeah. All right. Donald Jr. This is good. Donald Trump Jr. responds to New York civil fraud verdict. Here we go. Yeah. DBD. That's right. You go, Despicable by Design. Here we go.
Breaking news, folks.
Breaking news. Gee, Scoob. Eric Bowling. Jesus. What was that? Hold on.
Breaking news, folks. President Donald Trump says that...
Come on. Donald Trump says it. Hey, Scoob.
Justice system in New York State and in America is under assault, and it most certainly seems like he's right. New York Judge Arthur Engoron, the very clearly political...
Okay, somebody's got COVID, or he's got a sore throat, or something's funky. Oh no, yeah, he's either got to stop smoking so many... He's been smoking cigars with Don Jr. again, hasn't he? He's up all night smoking fucking cigars when you got to work in the morning, and then you're late to work anyways because you got to stop by the facial clinic to get marzipan filler, and then there's still... Or maybe it's just the nougat filter they put on.
Sized judge, by the way, has ruled that the 45th president defrauded banks by inflating his worth to acquire loans.
Yeah.
Ordering Trump to pay the state of New York $364 million.
Excuse me. I'm just enjoying myself for just 1 second. Sorry.
Leftist lawfare continues on its...
Leftist lawfare. Why would it be leftist lawfare if it's like did they shut down real estate as an industry and try to eliminate private property? Or are they trying to keep the real estate market functioning?
Path, folks. All of this, by the way, despite the fact that the bank Donald Trump supposedly defrauded testified in support of Trump. Got it.
Well, also a German bank with ties to Russian oligarchs and a history of money laundering. You didn't bring in the people from Bank of Cyprus? That's weird.
Off the heels of what we just watched over the last couple of days with...
Why is he only barred from business in New York for 3 years and not forever? Boston Brian, it's a good question. I'm going to go with because they go on scale, and a probationary measure is what they give everybody right out of the gate, so they don't just like automatically scissored off. But the 3 years of not being able to operate it is also somebody there with training wheels while they work out whether there's going to be appeal or anything like that. And that hall monitor they put with them for the next 3 years is basically going to be the permanent shutdown part.
Georgia District Attorney Fani Willis in court. This only proves yet again how corrupt America courts have become.
America courts. Is she America courts? I've never met her. She seems lovely, though.
How politicized the system has become against Donald Trump and the whole of the MAGA movement.
Wait a minute. So anybody with a Trump flag can't do business in New York City? New York City?
New York Judge Arthur Engoron, New York Attorney General Letitia James. These people have been clear that their intentions are not as they should be. This is all just part of a pathetic attempt.
Pathetic. It's pathetic.
To stop Donald Trump.
Yeah, to sop up Donald Trump with a piece of crusty bread.
From becoming our 47th president, and it's clearer and clearer by the day it won't work. Looks like...
Well, it won't work. You mean him being the 47th president? Yeah, I agree.
Judge Engoron just inched Donald Trump even closer to victory in the 2024 election. Well, we're lucky to have him here. Let's bring in Donald Trump Jr. to react.
You look like you've lost weight. You look. What is it? You look $4 million lighter.
Executive vice president of the Trump organization.
Again, technically not, as of the ruling. I don't know if his title is held in abeyance temporarily, but he can't. As long as the business is set up in New York, he can't run it. He can't be a vice president. Are you just? You know what? I take it. Maybe he's calling him that just to rub it in.
Don, first reaction. Thank you for joining us. Give us when you saw that number, what were you thinking?
It's just insane. I mean, it's literally. I mean,
like, we don't have that kind of money. Come on, it's insane. I mean, like, it would take me. I mean, a number that big, it would take me weeks to snort that amount. Never mind.
There are Democrat lawyers in New York that are calling and saying this is crazy. This is.
Yeah, I'm sure there are. What were their names again? Dersh or what?
So much worse. This is 5 times worse than we thought it would be.
I don't think it's 5 times worse than anybody thought it would be. What? Also, you thought you were going to be guilty, but only pay 64 million or something around that zone, plus yours, plus Eric's, plus whatever. Plus interest.
Everyone's screaming about Russia, 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 but the reality is what we complain about in Russia is happening right here in the United States of America.
Is it? I didn't realize. So this is video of him being taken to a gulag and marched through the snow till he collapses. Oh no, he went back to Florida on his private plane after this happened, and then he went to Philadelphia to sell sneakers, and now he's going to Michigan to keep running and stuff. You're right. It's almost exactly like that. And you're basically Edward Snowden at this point. By that I mean you're CGI.
The facts of the law don't matter. Your party.
Well, not to your attorney. Obviously, they do to Engoron and everybody. They don't. It's your team that
affiliation and where you live is going to be the determining factor from now on in our courts of law. They've shown that now time and time again, and it's absolutely disgusting.
Really? How many court trials do you think are going on in New York at any given time right now, or even in Texas for that matter? You think anybody? Where'd that fucking Chrisley knows best guy? He went to jail, and I think they were in Georgia or something, right? And that was for the same shit you guys did.
You know, I saw the number 354 million, I think, for DJT, and then
I was like, he doesn't have that kind of money. He's full of shit.
You and Eric and I think one of the others got
one of the others. One of the others. It wasn't Ivanka. It's not fucking Tiffany. Barron didn't do anything wrong. What the fuck are you talking about?
4 or 5 million each, some insane number. I just, and Goron
Shemp Trump
has shown throughout that he's got it out for you guys. I mean, this is clearly going to appeal. We have Alina Habba coming on in the next block, but
yeah, but she's not going to tell us anything worthwhile. So can you straighten this out?
It's going to go to appeal, but what are you thinking with the appeal?
My dad doesn't like appealing to anybody. He doesn't appeal to anybody. He only appeals to people's baser nature. He appeals to pussy grabbers. He appeals to xenophobes. It's just what he does, guys.
Well, listen, the reality is it's still New York, right? So you never know. I mean, you got to remember that half of the judgment that you're talking about in the 364, half of that was already ruled inadmissible because of statute of limitations in the Court of Appeals.
No. Apparently not.
The Court of Appeals has already ruled that, and this judge simply decided.
And by the way, because of statute of limitations, not because we're innocent, but because we got away with it. You can't triple stamp a double stamp, Lloyd. You can't triple stamp a double stamp. You can't triple stamp a no Quincy's, no stops. You can't triple stamp a double stamp. Right.
Decided to ignore that because, again, it's not about the law. It's not about the facts.
It's about a giant game of financial tag, and we touched base.
It's about penalizing Trump, trying to hurt Joe Biden's #1 political rival. That couldn't be more clear. Imagine just ignoring the appellate division that's already ruled on these things and just saying,
yeah, it should go fine. And I think you take it to the appellate decision, they'll go, what is this? We didn't say that. They'll clearly throw it, that half of it out. So you'll pay the other half and still not be able to do business, and you'll be, what? Oh.
What? I'm going to pretend like
our businesses' heads are falling off. We got no food.
They don't matter. The next natural court in the land in New York State just totally ignored. It's just absolute insanity.
It's such insanity. It's so sad. It's insanity.
Don, the judge in Gorin had about a 70 or 80 page ruling, and
yeah, which he clearly just dashed off. Didn't even think about it. Like, nobody reads this shit. Like, he wrote it. You could tell he wrote a lot of detail so nobody would read it. Yeah, it's just like the bureaucracy of bills and stuff.
in it, he said Trump showed no remorse. And I'm thinking, no remorse because no one was injured. This is a victimless crime, but some.
Nope. First of all, the banks have investors. All the investors make money on the rate at which the lending is done and the safety of that. He sued his bank multiple times, including Deutsche Bank. So, yeah, no victimless crime. Also, he muscled out, money's a finite resource, so he muscled out people who deserved the loans, whose businesses were, irrevocably harmed in this particular case because they maybe wanted that building, and he bullshitted his way to the front of the line.
Somehow he's attaching his massive judgment to Trump not showing remorse.
No, it wasn't part of it. And it's because, and by the way, the part of it is you can't do business for 3 years because obviously you can't be trusted because you're full of shit. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not about remorse. There's no victim, in this thing.
Yeah, why would I have remorse? Fuck them. These banks aren't even my dad's type. Look, you could even see, like, he wouldn't fuck this bank. That's his first bank. That's, he married that bank. He was married to that bank. That's what? That's one of the banks he fucked? Oh.
Some alleged victim, Deutsche Bank, a huge, probably close to $1 trillion institution.
Where did all that money come from? And why was it that they don't want people looking at their books?
Got on the stand, said they were paid back in full, said that we never missed a payment. They made hundreds of millions of dollars in interest on this, and they wanted to do more business with Trump.
No, they didn't. They actually got out of business with Trump already. Hold on one second. This is let's see if I can find this real quick. One second. Oh, no. Hold on. I've got to wait till this silly page. Silly drugs. Yeah, here you go. Is it 3 years ago? Here you go. Hold on. Hold on. I don't know why this is all jaggy, but I think it's because it's too big. Hold on. There you go. Deutsche Bank. This article is more than 3 years old. Deutsche Bank joins companies cutting ties with Donald Trump. Bank had propped up Trump Organization for years, despite it being sued by president, but acted after the Capitol attack. Deutsche Bank became the latest large company to cut ties with Donald Trump, the firm that has propped up the Trump Organization for 2 decades, reportedly announcing it would no longer do business with the disgraced president. The German bank's move, reported by the New York Times, follows Wednesday's deadly attack on the U.S. Capitol building by a mob of Trump supporters. The number of corporations disassociating themselves from Trump is now turning into an avalanche. That's still true. Deutsche Bank has been Trump's most important lender. Trump Organization, fronted by his two older sons, owes the bank about $340 million in outstanding loans after a series of bankruptcies in the 90s. It was the only bank willing to give Trump money. The relationship has survived various scandals. In 2008, Trump sued the bank's real estate division after he defaulted on a $40 million repayment used to fund the construction of the Trump International Hotel and Tower in Chicago. He accused Deutsche Bank of co-causing the financial crisis and demanded $3 billion in compensation. Instead of dumping him as a client, Deutsche Bank's private wealth division stepped in and loaned him more money to pay off the existing debt. Deutsche has resisted efforts by Democrats in the House and Senate to explain its relationship with Trump and to clarify if Russian state banks or entities underwrote some of his debts. Gee, I don't. That didn't come up on the stand. That wasn't part of the conversation. It's unclear if the decision extends to other members of the Trump family. The president's daughter, Ivanka Trump, and son-in-law, Jared, are both Deutsche clients. It does not. They're still in business with them. Firms said they will no longer give money to Republican representatives who have promoted Trump's false claim that November's election was rigged and that Trump won. In the past, both have donated to candidates from both parties. Deutsche Bank has not done business with Trump since 2021, since January 2021, right after January 6th, and will not again. Just saying. Also, they default.
Not less. Doing business with the Trump organization was a feather in their cap, not a liability. But
till January 6th, I guess.
Again, that didn't matter as it related to
it was a feather in their cap when they were talking to Russian oligarchs who wanted to hide some of their money outside the country.
Eric and I. Every single witness said we had nothing to do with the things in question. Didn't matter. Again, as I said, even liberals were like, they're going to release those guys because they had nothing to do with that.
No, we didn't. I'm a liberal, and I didn't say anything like that. Did you? Any of you guys? Who did it? Chat room? Chat room? Who was it? Fess up. I hope it wasn't the same person who has the laptop this week. Which one of you said they should let Don and Eric go because they don't know anything? All right. Julianne, I knew it. I fucking well knew it. Okay. And VJ Kodak did it too? Jesus. You guys, quit it. Guys, yeah. Guys, yeah. I need a, hold on. I need to let's see, some sort of, they gotta have some sort of like Don Jr. beard, right? That's not gonna work. It's gotta be, all these beards are too goddamn big. It's a fucking guys. That's not a thing. I don't even know what the fuck that is. This one, guys. Nope. Okay. Oh, it's this one, I guess. That's a pick one. Yeah. Nah, that's not even much of a beard. How about this one? No, that won't work. Shit. It's making my computer freak out. I'm trying to find a beard that looks like his. Nope. Yeah, I look like Stone Cold Steve Austin or something. This doesn't work. Son of a bitch. How about this guy? This is closer. This is Don Jr. Guys. This will work. It's got a very Ellis attitude to it. It's got a very Ellis style or whatever. Hans, Booby. I can give them to you. Right? That's, yeah. Guys. A flagon. Guys. That'll work. The boy. Flagon.
Pretty clear. The judge found that Michael Cohen, someone who's perjured himself so many times.
He lied on behalf of my dad. Guys, he totally lied on behalf of my dad. And then when he said he told the truth, he was telling the truth, but he was telling the truth about lying, guys. Flagon.
At this point, on the stand, that was a credible witness.
That's right. He said he was credible about not being credible. I mean, guys, come on now. Sorry. I've got this thing put in on my hard palate. It's like the dentist gave me to plug the hole from the Coke. And it makes me really nasally. I'm sorry about that.
Jail.
He perjured himself on
Went to jail.
He went to jail for lying for your dad, and then he gets out and does crime and fuck. And then what are you supposed to do?
He went to jail for that.
He went to jail for lying for your dad, and now he won't lie for your dad. Like, what? I know. Guys, come on.
He went to jail for it, but then did it again in this very case.
He came in and said, they asked him what he said that he went to jail for, and he repeated it on the stand while saying he was lying, but at the same time, guys, come on, guys. Come on, guys.
He said the same lie, even though he said, I said, and then he said it, and then he said, which was a lie at the time, but I went to jail for that, and I was there. But he still repeated the lie on the stand. You can't, that's fact. That's a fact. That is a fact. Okay? That is a fact. That's like, water's wet, Eric's dumb, fact.
He perjured himself in front of this
Coke is expensive, fact.
very judge.
Ritalin makes you racist if you don't actually need it for actual medical reasons. Fact.
And that doesn't matter. He's the one
Fact. I'm the only guy who's ever grown a beard and made his chin smaller.
that's credible, not us. With, again, witnesses, their star witnesses saying that we were, in fact, in the right and we were fine.
So weird. So weird. Just because their star witness, who, of course, is the guy who got busted for lying. We haven't been busted for lying yet. Yet. You know, he went to jail for lying. We haven't gone to jail for lying yet. After we go to jail for lying, it'll still be his lie because I'm just repeating what he told me. I don't know how to do. I don't know how any of this shit works, guys. Come on.
It's absolutely mind-blowing, Eric.
So, you know,
If I had a mind, it would be blown.
it's mind-blowing to me and should be to everyone watching right now.
Although nobody watching the show, in all fairness, Eric Bloating has a mind. This is a mindless show, so consider it pre-blown.
Letitia James, the Attorney General of New York, ran before she was elected, ran on getting Trump. And this is her baby. This is her case. It's just.
I mean, it's unbelievable. Promises made, promises kept. It's horrible. Dad's still working on his healthcare plan for like the longest 2 weeks ever. She runs on it. Bam. It's like these guys don't even know how government works. You're supposed to promise something and not do it. That's how it's supposed to work. God.
It just blows me away that the world didn't see it, that Ngoran didn't see that this was her payback. You elected me. I'm going to go get Trump. And in the end, so far she has. So your thoughts to Letitia James?
Well, we said that from moment one, before she knew anything, before she looked into the cases, she said that this is what she's going to do. And again, in an area.
Now, granted, she does have a newspaper subscription, so to say she doesn't know anything, I mean, whatever. Look, I'm his son. I don't even know anything about him. Eric, what I know about Eric is I know Eric doesn't know anything about anything. That's what I know. Guys.
Like New York, where it's entirely stacked against you. 90.
It is. Everything is stacked against us because they use stuff like everywhere you turn. It's like math and good vocabulary and business and collateral. And you're like, what, guys.
Something % Democrat. And again, if you're a Republican, if you were on a jury, they avoided a jury in this one because I guess they thought
yeah, if you're a Republican, whatever you do, if you're going to like try and set up like a news network that's completely Republican and like take a whole building and turn it into, I don't know, name it after some sort of animal and forget about it. It's not going to work. It's going to fail. Okay. If you're a crass asshole with a bunch of friends and stuff who talk shit about women and are gross or whatever, don't try to do your radio show out of New York. It'll never take off. You know what I mean? Because it's so liberal, you can't do anything anymore.
Jury would give it to us, so we'll do a bench trial. But someone couldn't do that. They wouldn't be able to go to a restaurant again. They wouldn't be able to go to their children's school because it's so heavily weighted as a one-party state.
Yeah, all the restaurants have like Democrats only, and they have separate water fountains. That's what it is, Eric. Eric, basically, there are separate groups. There's separate water fountains, separate toilets for Trumps. There's all these restaurants and other. They say Dems only, and then we've got to use this other shitty little water fountain. We're discriminated. We're gonna do. If we rode the bus, we would Rosa Parks something.
This is by design. It's why they're choosing these venues. It's the same thing what you see going on in Georgia right now with Fani Willis. It's the same thing why the grand jury in the Florida case was actually a grand jury in Washington, D.C. for a case in Florida, because they understand that
that it was a federal court case and that was the grand jury is about
a federal case, even though it happened in one of the states. It's the same thing they do with all federal, like even serial killers and stuff like that, or mob people that they have to do. They have to have a grand jury in Washington for all these elements that
in front of a grand jury in D.C., the rule of law, basic
nothing matters. Debs, they get to do whatever they want. And the Trumps, we're just stuck down here. We're being kept down by the man because I'm an orange man in a white man's world.
decency, all of the above. It doesn't matter. We're going to go after our political enemies. We're going to show them. And, again, they're doing it right now in America while we're complaining about what's going on in Russia. It's pretty ironic.
Yeah, it's so ironic. We're thinking about moving there, Eric. We're going to move there. You want to come with us? You don't want to come with us? You sure you don't want to come with us? Come with us, Eric. Eric, come with us. It's so much better there. Did you see Tucker's videos? It's so much better. It's so much fucking better.
Ironic.
So the judge says, and part of the ruling was 3 years banning, you can't get loans from banks in New York. And he also went so far.
Well, you can't run a business at all. Basically, that is our entire business, is just getting loans for banks. We don't do much else. We don't build anything or make anything or create anything or fix anything. We just get loans that we don't deserve to buy shit we don't need, to sit on it until it's worth more and sell it to a dumber sucker than us.
As far as to say, hey, banks in New York, don't lend them money, which I find that a leap, right? So when the legal system jumps into the private businesses of banks, telling them what they can and can't do, I have a serious problem with that. But he's
well, they're not lighted up to load to us, Eric, at all. They're not gonna give us. They don't. There's not. Eric, Deutsche Bank's in Germany.
says you can't get loans from banks, but you also can't sell any properties. So what are they telling you? What's your next
What? First of all, what do you do?
3 years look like?
I think they're just trying to make it as difficult as we can. Hopefully the appellate division has some.
Real quick, let me. Did you hear that sentence? Real quick, run it by me again, dummy. This way. They're what?
I think they're just trying to make it as difficult as we can. Hopefully.
They're just trying to make it as difficult as we can. I don't think they could do it. Honestly, I think you make it way more difficult than anything they could do. I mean, you could fuck up a free lunch. Your dad bankrupted a casino. Let me tell you something. Fonnie Willis and Engeron couldn't bankrupt a casino if they tried. As a matter of fact, if a casino tried to bring in a bankruptcy case to them, they'd probably try to find a reason not to grant the bankruptcy. It would literally be nearly impossible for them to let that go. All right.
The appellate division has some sense and some reasonableness, and they understand the slippery slope of what this causes. If this is allowed to happen, I mean, any attorney general can just threaten someone after the fact. You didn't contribute to my political campaign. You know what? We're going to go after you for $1 billion, and we're probably going to win because it's New York.
Because it's New York. You mean the zoom in on his guns? You mean these things up here? If people can't see this, it's like this fucking gun tree, like a fucking hat rack full of or a coat rack with guns on it over here. I don't know if we can. Let's see if we can scale that up. See if I can theater mode, and then it only goes so big. But that's his fucking gun stack over there. Dumbass. All right. Anyways, this is what I used to hunt kittens with.
Opening that this creates for graft and outright theft and essentially extortion, which is all this is as far as I'm concerned.
Well, it's already happened. You've been what are they extorting you to do? Not break the law? That's what fines are, really. If you really think about it, a fine is basically just extorting people to not break the law. If you think about it, hashtag taxation is theft, but driving on roads you refuse to pay for isn't.
Extortion against your political enemies. They've just opened that door wide open, and it's just un-American. It's absolutely despicable.
So it's alarming. It's appalling. This
Yeah, it is. It's so alarming and appalling.
This judgment for anyone who's an American. Forget if you're pro-Trump or not. I mean, if you
Not. Just put me in the not category.
you see something like this, $364 million for a victimless crime.
You don't have that kind of money. Your dad's broke. I heard him. I was at Mar-a-Lago for one of those parties or whatever when he was. You could hear him and Melania screaming at each other through that wall and stuff. I started crying, and Eric came out and he had that like weird dazed look in his eye, and he just was muttering, "We're broke. We got nothing. We're broke. We got nothing." I was there.
It's insanity. I'm just thinking of all the bad things that are going on that don't get punished.
Yeah, all the what do you mean? All the bad things that are going on that don't get punished? You mean like Paul Manafort and Steve Bannon and Mike Flynn, those kind of guys, or like all the people he pardoned? Or
the resiliency of Trump is to be noted, though. Yeah. He's being persecuted in Georgia, in New York, in the federal level, and everywhere, and yet he comes back. I think he's got a big rally tomorrow in Michigan. I think we're going to take that as well here, but.
Yeah, take it live because it's going to be awesome.
But talk to us about how he's standing up with all this coming at him.
Yeah, because he sounds great and not confused at all, and when he says shit, it all comes out so smoothly.
He can do things with his tongue you wouldn't believe it.
Yeah, it's incredible, and he doesn't. There's like it's amazing because he's so resilient that he doesn't. I mean, he's like zero.
Purge the anti-Semitism and pro-terrorism. What you're doing?
Mm-hmm. It's the, whoops, my buttons are being weird.
Listen, he's a fighter. He could have stopped doing any of this stuff, Eric, after 2020, just packed
Nah, he really couldn't have.
it up. Everything would have been
He could have stopped breaking the law.
fine. They would have left him alone, but he believes in this stuff. He understands where it's going. He understands the slippery
No, he doesn't.
slope I was just talking about. He's not going to stop. He's going to keep fighting for our country because
No, he isn't. He moved. He left New York. He left Alan Weisselberg out to dry. What are you talking about?
he understands that if you don't, and it's not like the Republican Party puts up too many good fighters, if you don't do it now, you get past a point of no return where the Republic is lost. We will become the Marxist state that the Democrats seemingly want.
Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. It's Joe Biden's gonna turn into a Marxist state. You do realize which Democrats are mad at Joe Biden? It ain't the centrists. Also, I guess technically speaking, if we become a Marxist country, where are you going to go? Jeez, a lot of liberals were saying if your dad won, they were going to go to Canada because that was kind of they considered it like the socialist utopia next door, right? Meanwhile, where's he going to go? Hungary. You go to Hungary. Yeah. What could possibly go wrong? Ivanka will have a great time in Hungary. So will Melania. Oh, yeah. So that's what she wanted to do. Leave Eastern Europe to come all the way here so she could go back to Eastern Europe.
Those kinds of political persecutions will continue. He's the guy standing in the way of that. That's a huge burden.
Is he mad?
He understands the burden and the responsibility.
Did this make him mad? Does this give him more resolve to win? I mean, what just give us a...
Yeah, it just numbs him, really. You know what I mean? Like when you do a freeze on your gums with Coke, it just kind of, Wow, man.
Sort of emotional breakdown.
I spoke with him earlier. I mean, he can't believe it because you can't believe that this sort of thing's happening in America today.
Really? He can't believe it? He can't believe it. He just can't believe it. He can't believe someone so hot as Alina Habba could be so dumb.
But it is, and it just strengthens his resolve to keep fighting. He's not going to stop. People see it. People see how ridiculous it is. Again,
No, they kind of don't. They kind of increasingly going, this motherfucker's guilty.
Are people that probably hate our guts on the other side, in the legal field in New York, Columbia law professors that are saying we've never even seen anything like this. This is not even
the Columbia law professor you paid to be your witness. You mean that guy?
Above and beyond the law. They're just making it up as they go along.
Well, then you would think if you had, you know what it is? Then your dad must have the absolute worst taste in lawyers in the fucking world. If they're just making it up and there's nothing there, well, shit. Any shithead ambulance chasing fucking bus stop lawyer could have kicked this shit right out of court in a matter of hours. But somehow, you lost all this fucking money. So maybe, just maybe, it might, and again, you don't know shit about your business, and neither does Eric. That's according to both you guys. So maybe, just maybe, you're wrong about this, and your dad was engaged in a bunch of shit. And the reason he's saying I'm protected by the statute of limitations is because he knows he did something wrong. Did that ever occur to you, dummy?
When those people who probably hate your guts are absolutely disgusted at what's going on, there's a serious problem going on in America, and that's why this is so critical. I think the American public sees the overreach, the absolute insanity of it.
The absolute insanity and the nonsense.
It all. What you're not allowed to talk about, the flagrant disregard, giving credence and credibility to people like Michael Cohen. That's the star witness.
You mean your dad's fixer? The guy who turned state's evidence? I mean, this is a mob argument. You do realize that, right?
I mean, they get it, and they understand that, again, it's only a matter of time till it comes to them, till it's one of their loved ones, till it's their business.
That's right. Yeah, that's true. It's only a matter of time before all of us lie about a building we own and pretend it has 10 floors more than it does. Who doesn't do that? I mean, how do you pass that up? Nobody's looking. Nobody's. I'll just on my next equity bank loan from the same bank I bought the house with, I'll just tell them the house got 3 times bigger. And I spent no money on reno. It just got 3 times larger than is physically possible.
And I think they're going to wake up very quickly.
Also, by the way, for any maggots or trolls that are in there, bless you and thank you for being here. You help us with the algorithm. But I also want to tell you that you do realize the reason why Trump lied about his apartment being 30,000 square feet instead of 11,000, which is nothing to sneeze at, right? Who gives a shit? That's the size of the floor, right? Take another floor of your own fucking building, I guess, if you want to, or 2 more if you want to just triple it. That's put staircases between them. Well, I'll tell you why he says 30,000, because that's how much square footage Oprah has in the tower in downtown Chicago that she lives in, because she took 3 floors of this building and went between them. And she modified this. It was a big talk in Chicago when she did this. She took literally 3 floors of this building, bought all the condos in this one thing, knocked down the walls, and put stairs between each floor, and owned all 3. And her place was about 30,000 square feet. I think 28,000 or something like that. So Trump lied about the size of his place. He started telling that lie after she actually built that place. She had a real apartment that was 28,000 square feet. And this dumb motherfucker was like, well, then mine's 30. But he just didn't do it. He didn't do any of the construction. He didn't do anything. He just scribbled over the 1 and made it a 3.
They haven't already.
All right, we're going to leave it right there. Appreciate you.
Yeah, leave it right there. Kind of like the bankruptcy around the Taj Mahal. And
Jump into a camera for us on this breaking news night. Thank you, Donald Trump Jr. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you, Eric. And thanks for being here. Thanks, guys.
Whew. That's the family is handling it very well.